Yo, what's up, my friends? How's it going out there? So I'm coming back to you all, doing another NFL quarterback rating. Now, last time we didn't get that many views on this thing, but the video was kind of bad, and it was maybe a bit too long. So we're gonna try to not do that this time. All right. So the next quarterback I'll be talking about is the Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons quarterback. That's kind of a lot to write down, right? Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota. Okay, so Marcus Mariota is an interesting quarterback because he has kind of just been a backup for the last few years. Um, and obviously, these are not his only years. I got traded by that last time. So we're just gonna go look at his stats over here. All right. So he's 28 years old. He went to college in Oregon, was drafted, I believe, back in 2014. So let's talk about his career stats. I don't need all that. Let's talk about his career. So, okay, he was drafted in 2015. I was wrong. So he was drafted in 2015. Now, if y'all remember, back when he was drafted, he was predicted to go like first or second in the draft, and I think he did. Um, or at least it was. There are two quarterbacks when he was drafted that were really, really hyped up. Like I mean, really hyped up. Him and Jameis Winston, and it's kind of funny looking back on it because Marcus, I believe, was I can't remember if he was drafted before Jameis or after, but he was drafted to the Titans, and Jameis was drafted to the Buccaneers. Y'all remember that? And Marcus and Jameis had two very different um, starts to their career. Marcus had an exceptional start, and Jameis not as much, right? I think Jameis ended up throwing a bunch of interceptions in his first game, and Marcus Mariota just blasted away like everybody in his first game. He just absolutely killed it in his first game. And 2015. Let's look at the stats back then. He did very well in 2015. His rookie season was incredible, right? But it's not necessarily about his rookie season. This is about the full body of work as a quarterback. Yeah, after all, this is a quarterback review. So it's about the full body of work as a quarterback. Marcus Mariota is one of these guys who, again, like I said, has been a backup over the last few years. But if you look at like his stats from his early seasons, he was pretty good. In fact, you look at his total stats in his career, he's been pretty good. I mean, 77 touchdowns, 45 interceptions, 13,000 yards over the last one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 seasons. 7 seasons, 13,000 yards isn't necessarily that great, but it's not bad. He doesn't throw that many. He doesn't actually throw that many interceptions, despite what a lot of people might tell you, right? And then let's look at 2019. So what happened in 2019? Oh boy, poor old Marcus Mariota. The Titans were just a mess in 2019, and a lot of the blame went to Marcus Mariota. Now, the thing is, you might say, wait a minute, didn't they technically make the playoffs in 2019? I want to say they did. The thing is, they made the playoffs after Marcus Mariota got injured and was subsequently benched uh, and replaced by Ryan Tannehill, who we should probably get to later, and is also kind of a controversial quarterback. 2019 Titans. 2019 Titans. What was their record that year? So that year in 2019, this is the best part about the internet. You can go back. Okay, fine. They won't show it to me for some reason. Well, if we go down here, we can check out the playoff game. They were 11-8 by the end of the season, and then lost their first playoff game in 2019 to the Chiefs, who would eventually go on to the AFC Championship game and lose to the Patriots. Okay, so you might be thinking, wait a minute. If the Titans were a mess before, you know, before Marcus Mariota was benched for Ryan Tannehill that year, how could they have made the playoffs? Well, let's look at the games Marcus Mariota played in his last season as a starter. So I'm pretty sure that he got injured / benched probably around here. And then after that, they had like a big winning streak, or at least a gigantic string of wins, just kind of thrown together. In fact, I'm probably gonna click on this to see who the quarterback was. Ryan Tannehill, Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota was definitely benched after this game. You can see Ryan Tannehill did not have a great game either. I don't even think the Broncos defense was that good. But after that game, that's where you see, that's Phil Rivers. That's where you see Ryan Tannehill kind of just comes in and takes over. So he got benched after the game where they lost to the Broncos pretty badly, 16-0. Okay, so Mariota did. Oh, that's preseason. Mariota did have a couple of games this season that were pretty good, like 1-1, and then 1-2, 2-2, 2-3, and then you're just like sitting at like 2-4 right there. The Titans were like 2-4, and then Ryan Tannehill takes over, and they wait. Let me make sure that's a fact. 1-1. They even lost to the Jags. Like Mariota did not no touchdowns, but a bunch of yards that game. Don't know how that works out. Oh, that was Nick Foles' Jags too. They lost to Nick Foles' Jags. XD. That's funny. Holy moly. Yeah, it was bad, wasn't it? So they won this game. They only so they went 1-1, and then 1-2, 2-2, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5. Well, 2-4, 3-4, and then Tannehill takes over, and then they're what is it? So this is 3-4, 4-4, 4-5, 5-5, 6-5, 7-5, 8-5. Then this was like what? 8-6, 8-7, 9-7. So then they ended up. Well, they made it all the way to the championship game that year. They ended up winning. Oh, this was that year. Okay. So yeah, they went 9-7. Then they ended up winning against the Patriots in the wild card. Then this was the game. Oh my god, I remember that. I'm a Ravens fan, so I remember this game. This game is the game that people claim that Lamar Jackson started playing well in the playoffs. But the Ravens got the bye this year because they were the first seed. Because this was Lamar Jackson's MVP year. And then Lamar fucking threw 2 interceptions this game. Ryan Tannehill dished out, not that much, really. He threw for 88 yards, but still 2 touchdowns, bro. Right? And then Ryan Tannehill also ran. Well, Derrick Henry had a monster game. Look at that. 195 yards. And Ryan Tannehill also scored. Ryan Tannehill scored 3 total touchdowns that game. And, over 100 yards. And Lamar Jackson had 1 touchdown, 365 yards off of 59 attempts. And, Lamar Jackson had an okay game that day. You can't throw 2 interceptions and expect to win that game, but that's not the point. Marcus Mariota got benched because he was playing bad, right? He was playing bad. Ryan Tannehill led them all the way to the AFC Championship game, and then Marcus Mariota gets traded to the Raiders, and then he backs up Derek Carr for mostly 2 seasons. So Marcus Mariota started off as a pretty decent QB. Like there's time he has playoff games and playoff wins, but the past few seasons since 2019 have not looked good for Marcus Mariota. In fact, you can see dude barely ever got over 3,000 yards passing in a season. Now, he does run a lot, right? He does run more often than most other QBs. You can see 252 yards, 349, 312, 357. These are all rushing yards, right? With, you know, 2, 2, 5, 2, 1, 1. That's not like that much, but it's more than a lot of other quarterbacks. And I say I was a Ravens fan, watching Lamar Jackson run all the field all the time. But that's different. Because Lamar Jackson is a true mobile quarterback. Marcus Mariota was a mobile quarterback before like Lamar Jackson redefined what it meant to be a mobile quarterback. Right? So Marcus Mariota was considered a mobile quarterback back when he was a starter. And now he's probably going to get a chance to be a starter again. And I'll show you why. Because, their roster, I'll look down the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks. I'm just going to look at Falcons quarterbacks. QBs. He's like literally competing against these no-name people from like college. And that's it. Who are these people? Ain't nobody fucking knows. No one knows who these guys are, right? Like, that's the thing. I think Marcus Mariota will win the starting job in Atlanta. There's like no way he doesn't, because it's not going to be either one of these two idiots. That's for sure. So that's one thing. Like, I think Marcus Mariota is good enough to win a starting job. I think that he's a really good backup in the NFL. He doesn't throw that many interceptions. He's not going to throw for that many yards. He can run if he needs to. His completion rate ratio it could be better, but it's not bad. 62% in his whole career. I think, and he has playoff wins, and I think overall slightly underrated, but I feel like probably deserves the criticism that he's gotten over the past few years. I think he's like a solid C, right? Which doesn't sound great, but that would make him kind of average. I think the Falcons are not going to have a good season this year because, let's be honest, if Matt Ryan can make this team work, Marcus Mariota is definitely not. I think, Marcus Mariota is going to maybe get this team with maybe like 4 or 5 wins, maybe 6 if they're lucky, right? But that's more of the Falcons being a mess, not really Marcus Mariota being bad, right? Marcus Mariota is not a bad quarterback. He's just not great. He's just average, right? Like, I think I'm going to rank a bunch of, well, maybe not a bunch of guys below, but I'm going to definitely rank some guys below. He's not bad. He's not great. He's average. And he's got a history of being decent. He's done some stuff in the past that's more notable than the last guy I talked about, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has no playoff wins. Marcus Mariota, I believe, has some. I'm going to look it up right now to prove it. Playoff record. He has a 3-3 record in the playoffs. That's better than Lamar Jackson. That's better than Justin Herbert. I don't think Justin Herbert's ever played in a playoff game. Marcus Mariota has a 500 record in the playoffs. That's nothing to sneeze about, bro. He's played 6 playoff games and he's won 3 of them. Like, he's got a history of being able to win in the NFL, and I gotta give him credit for that. I think right now he's a C quarterback, good backup, pretty average for the NFL, but he's got a history of being able to win, and I think he could at least win like 5 or 6 games with the Falcons. And in all honesty, that might be basically their peak. You know, I think he gets a lot of hate for like no reason. I think he's definitely better than Jameis Winston. Straight up. He's been better than Jameis Winston his whole career. If you look at the draft classes, the only two quarterbacks that actually mattered that draft, I think he's always been better than Jameis. He throws way less interceptions than Jameis. They're in the same division now, so we'll see how that goes. Exactly. We'll see how that goes. Falcons Saints first game. Jameis Winston versus Marcus Mariota. First game is gonna be exciting. It's actually gonna be exciting. I'm ready for it. You know, I would rank him C. Suppose that I'm probably gonna rank Jameis worse than that, right? Exactly. But yeah, I think he's got something to improve this year. Prove he can still be on that level of the guy that's won 3 playoff games in his past. I mean, there's always that one play that we remember where he threw the touchdown to himself accidentally. And that was funny. That was funny. All right, that's been this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and peace.